fancy meeting you here.
Again. Same time next year.
How you feeling?
Honest answer or just the
No,
usual?
I want the honest answer.
Oh, exhausted.
Yeah, I feel like I got hit by a truck.
Yeah, 2 trucks. Truck a day.
Which to me is kind of like the sign of a successful conference.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you guys feeling? Good. That's what matters. Cool.
So this is something that we do every year. Welcome. And it's your chance to tell us what you're thinking about, what you learned this week, what you're dreaming about, where you think things are going in the next 5 years.
Where we should go.
Where we should go in the next 5 years. What you hated, what you loved about fire.
Mostly loved. Yeah.
Feedback is a gift, not a demand for change. So if anyone has anything that they would like to share with the group, please line up at the microphones. This is your chance to make yourselves heard. And then I just ask that if you have something to say, you state your name first so we can remember who you are later.
Hi, John Payne again. As an ecologist, I can't help being very aware that everything that happens in the environment is a product of the population size, the human population size. So consumption is just consumption per capita times number of people. And pollution is just pollution per capita times the number of people. And I'd be very interested next year in a session on human demography. I also think that climate change is driving migration on a scale. We're just seeing the very beginnings of it, but I think it's going to be an incredible scale. Nigeria is estimated that they'll have 7 times as many people by the year 2100, and so on. I think something on just the basics of what's happening with population would be a very interesting session. The economy's aging and movement and so on.
That's a great suggestion. Point. Yeah, I love that. I think Evan did a global report about that in the last couple of years, but it'd be really interesting to bring in some kind of leading, population experts to talk about what to expect, because eventually,
and there are a lot of those,
and there are a lot of population experts, but eventually it'll start to decline, and that even that could change the conversation we just had, right? Yeah. It's not that far away.
Very interesting story.
Yeah.
Many countries are already demographically declining. There are too many people. Yeah.
That came up yesterday in the robotics breakout, actually, which was there was a conversation about, well, what about all these jobs that humanoid robots are going to be replacing? And someone said, I think it was Jeff Cardenas who said, well, actually, we have a huge problem where there's not enough humanoid labor to care for people, especially aging people, and the kind of like population bomb, quote unquote. So I think it's going to continue to be one of those things that people don't really see coming, but has a huge impact.
Right. Paul Ehrlich used to teach at Stanford while I was there, and he wrote The Population Bomb. It was completely wrong, embarrassingly badly wrong. And he forgot one thing, which is when people acquire more money, they have fewer children. It's the largest thing in the world in population data. And then the other thing that he kind of missed in terms of the real bomb part was he's just counting heads. And as someone, as John just pointed out,
resource consumption.
It doesn't matter about the heads, it matters about the consumption. And I don't see anybody talking about, if you take healthcare and you fix it worldwide, so fewer people die.
Yeah.
And if you take people who are living on $1 a day and they end up on $10, you really raise them up out of, like China just did. Those are all dirt farmers 30 years ago. They're the poorest of the poor.
Well, some of
and
them
if you do all these great things, the cost to the environment and to the planet is going to be uncontrollable. It'll be out of belief's sake. We won't even be able to guess. So these noble impulses that are happening all around the world, and they are noble, will have a consumption impact per person, which no one has figured out yet. And so I'm glad John mentioned that, because there's got to be kind of a circular economy going here. While we lift people out of poverty, we do it in a way which is circular, hopefully, so that we're not destroying the place we live while we're lifting them out of the poverty, become good consumers.
Linda Galindo, I had this moment yesterday when I said to the person in front of me, I feel like I've been in a room of cave people and a plane flew over our heads. It's just been a tremendous experience in that regard. I see something in the future I can't explain, but I am leaving much better equipped for my clients about what's happening, what they have to be thinking about. And I loved how many times you, Mark, said the word accountability, because that's my whole gig. And my request is, would you make each of these sessions a podcast segment?
We actually are doing that, yeah.
I listened ahead of time to
Yeah.
several, so I felt like I was ready. I didn't see near enough, I don't think, users of that. But if each of these sections was a podcast and I can anticipate that, then I can direct my clients to the thing that they want to hear. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to explain this. There's just no way.
Yeah, there's this guy over there on the side of the room that's recording everything, and I think that's part of the plan.
Yeah.
So they will be coming.
I'm Jason Knapp. I've come to FIRE a few times. One of the things I love about it, and this relates to the last comment, is coming away with solutions, an idea that there are solutions to these things. I've got 2 young adult kids, and you can see the fatalism that exists today. It's just kind of like, why do anything? Because we're doomed anyway. But Dennis Bushnell's talk, stuff you've said, Mark, in past fires, you realize that there are solutions to these things, and humanity has an amazing ability to deal with threats once they're clear and present. So I tell them that, the things that seem unsolvable today, they may just work out to be more solvable than you think they are. So thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. It's just funny you mentioned that, because Mark and I have actually had that exact same conversation many times, where I'm like, what? It just feels so hard, like there's so many problems, this climate change is like, we're just screwed. And he'll turn to me and be like, I just want you to know that, like, I think you should stay optimistic about things, because, so yes, continue having those conversations. They are important.
Okay, Brenda Cooper. I've been to a couple of fires by now as well. This past year, a lot of the really good content that was put out really featuring work that Berit, you, and Evan did. And here, I saw you primarily in the interviewer role. I'd like to see at least 1 or 2 panels where you are interviewed and you can catch us up on some of this really good work that you have done throughout the year.
Yeah, we kind of forgot that, and then it came up like in the last 2 weeks before the event, and so next year we'll do that.
In the meantime, Brenda, you do have my phone number.
Oh, it's first turn.
Well,
yeah, so I just wanted to say, God, it feels good to be back in person. 2019 was the last one, and I joined on the 2018 team as well. And I've had a lot of people talk to me about FIRE over the years, and one thing I wanted to mention here is my experience and other people's that I've talked to as well. FIRE energizes me. This conference energizes me. It builds up that inspiration and that passion, just like it's like charging my battery, essentially. I work in batteries, so I'll use that analogy. But every year, I feel like I slowly deteriorate from FIRE, as it hits the peak, hit the 100% charge, and then slowly the electrons are
that a
leaking
metaphor?
out of me, and I lose the loss rate over the time. But then energy or fire bumps that right back up. So I really want to appreciate and just say thank you for it, because it's really an energized bunny to me, and I'm super excited and motivated now leaving. So exhausted, but in that metaphor, my battery is charged.
Thank
Will.
you. And thank you for all of your work this week leading our team of fellows. It really, your leadership to this conference has been really essential. And for those who don't know, Will also contributed hugely to the Future of Energy report, which is in your bags. He was an advisor who I talk to almost every week about how to transition the U.S. grid to 100% renewables and what were the roadblocks, how to overcome those. So he's fantastic, and we're so very lucky to have him.
And I think, Will, you got that job here, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, that's another story. Yeah, so fire did change my life.
Cool.
So I appreciate you guys.
Very
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will. We should mention, I think, Berit.
Oh,
that,
yeah, we should mention that.
Do you want to mention it?
Well, I don't know. You can mention it.
Let's both mention
Okay, all right.
it. All right.
All right, well, we're coming back here next year
On
on October 20th.
great.
And I think it says 20th to 24th on that slide, but I think it's the 20th to the 23rd because someone pointed out
All right.
that would be 5 days.
Fine.
And we hope that you will join us.
We'd love it if you would join
We
us.
want you all to come back
We really want you to come back
because you are our favorite friends.
because we want you to remember what Will said just
Yeah.
now. And when your batteries are all the way down, you'll have something you can do to bring them back. And just kind of capture in your minds right now how happy you are. And then when you get home, push the little red button that says early bird and save yourself $2,000 and come back and join us.
So we will have this rate available for the next 2 weeks. Here's the QR code. Now you can take a
There it
photo of it. You can register later. You
Get
can
out your
register
smartphone
now.
camera.
It's $3,900. Best deal of the year. And yeah, we really hope you'll join
Yeah.
us again.
I mean, that's how we keep fire going. So it's great to have sponsors. We'd love to have more sponsors, but really it's having your support by coming. And it turns out we count all of you except for 3 people, and I'm not going to say which 3, but it's great when you actually register and pay. So try and do that. That'd be fantastic.
Bob?
Bob?
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Mary?
So I was going to actually say the same thing about in person. And it is a massive inspiration. It just like builds energy. The connections are amazing. But also I think it's that wellness thing, a big component of wellness and reducing stress and, your personal health. I think it really tangibly contributes to that because people take that time out and, it's a beautiful place and it's just very stimulating and positive and you're connecting with real people. So that in person is so amazing. And thank you guys. I mean, really, there's nothing like it. And it is very much amazing. I mean, it's just amazing. So I know you guys work really hard. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
So I'm still the managing director. Yeah, and I want to congratulate you guys for another great fire. Special shout out to Larry Smarr. When I think Mark Monday night said something about the intersection of big medical data and AI is probably the most important thing that's happened and that we've discussed this week. And hearing then Larry's presentations, discussions, meeting his doctor, having some private conversations with him was a real mind opener. So I thank you so much for making that happen. Traditionally, at the end of fire, I give feedback to Mark, and now I'm going to have to give that feedback to Berit. Once again, you have made my hair hurt. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Vanessa Pagaros. So feedback is a gift, and it's coming from a part of me. This feedback is coming from a part of me that is truly appreciative of this conference and the topics. I think we some of the challenges I see in the audience is that, we need some younger people here. We are not bridging the gap between this older generation, and I include myself in that older generation, and the young people as much. And I often tell young people, my job is to get out of the way and help you do the things you need to do at this point, and counsel you and bring that wisdom to you. And so I think we need to self-reflect on that, and how do we make that happen?
We talk about that a lot, and so I'm interrupting because I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
What ages are you thinking?
In late 20s, 30s. Yeah.
We can do that. We were talking about trying to get high school kids, but they have to, 21 and parents and all that kind of stuff. So what you're saying is possible, and I guess the question would be, do you have an idea of how to reach out to people that age that you would want to see in this room?
Well, I think within the Silicon Valley, there are many organizations we probably could, big tech firms that we could reach out to. I don't have the answer because I didn't think about the answer, but
I've got some ideas.
Yeah.
Global shapers, maybe.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so that was one bit of feedback. And then the other one is pretty obvious fact, but in the audience, at its capacity, there wasn't one black person in this entire audience. I just see we're missing some of that diversity aspect as well. We had a couple of the speakers, and I get it, but we need, and honestly, the diversity in general is pretty low. And so again, not trying to, I want this organization to thrive in the future, and I don't think it can do it without those components included in a more deliberate way.
I think we've got more women on our speaking schedule than we've had by a factor of 5 or something. And I don't know what the count is in the audience, but it feels to me like we're having an increasing number of women in the audience, because it used to just be guys pretty much. So it's not perfect, but at least we're headed in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, women are not the same. The women come from the same social circles as all the white men here. The challenge is reaching beyond this social circle to the broader one that actually exists. I want to second you.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Vanessa, I completely agree with you. I think as you and we have discussed before, it's definitely a priority for me. And I welcome any ideas or contacts that you all have, because one of the challenges, as you may know, of being an attractive place for people of color to come is we are primarily a white audience. And so a lot of times it's tough to it doesn't necessarily feel like a welcoming environment if you don't see yourself reflected in that audience, right? And I think that's something that I would love to improve in the years to come, and it's gonna take all of you to help. I need your help and connections to do that, your recommendations. So yeah, it's a work in progress, but thank you for that feedback.
There's a third woman in a row standing there. Oh, you haven't done your thing yet. I thought you were done. Okay.
No, I wanted first some feedback for myself. Next year, make sure to come for all the days. I had a conflict, but I'm so sorry I missed the first half, which I heard about in great depth. Second, and the question of newer people and newer kinds of people, maybe there's some sort of, for the first year, they get a discount no matter what, or if they're under 30 or just, but the pricing I think is a real barrier to a lot of people. Then the third thing, and this is sort of a joke, but maybe somebody else has a better idea, how do you have the same number of panels but make them at least 45 minutes long? Because they were all so great and all too short. And I came from the East Coast, so maybe we could just start at 6 a.m. But anyway, I'm looking for a better answer to this challenge.
All right. Thank you.
I mean, I think as long as Jonathan brings his humanoid robots next year to help run the conference starting at 6 a.m., it shouldn't be a problem.
Hi, I'm Petra Vorsteher, and I want to thank you for another amazing, amazing conference. And I've been a great fan and carried the torch for a long, long time since we met in 2002. And I'm always amazed what kind of quality speakers you have at the events. And for me, it's like I mentioned to you, it's like a learning journey every time I come to a FIRE conference. And I can speak for Ragnar also, would like to contribute more. And we talked about that last night for the next FIRE conference, have the AI group being involved more and helping more, and also during the year to do more. Now with the solar challenge, we have lots of ideas already how we can help there. But I wanted to thank you all and thank you the family, and also to Sharon at home, who we miss dearly, that and thank you for your friendship as well. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sharon, we are missing 2 people this year that are normally here. Sharon Anderson Morris and David Morris. They had to stay home this year. David's having some health issues, but they really were sad not to come, really sad. So please send them your love. They would love to hear from you. And I know Sharon especially is just sitting at home kind of like, I think she's been FaceTiming into some sessions with Anne. And so they're here in spirit.
So a lot of people stole my lines, but I want to formally congratulate you on the 20th anniversary of FIRE.
Thank you.
And we're so grateful for the founding and the continuation. Like any startup, that's a very big deal. We're still here. I said this a few years ago, and I think it is the characteristic of FIRE that we are a people who see ahead, and it is a very lonely, long road. And we are kindred spirits in that process. Mm-hmm. So thank you for creating a place. You have continually raised the bar for us, and like climate change, there is this multiplier effect of cross-pollination, and what you have done is accelerated innovation and change. And maybe, moreover, you've created a place for hope. So thank you so much.
All right, we are out of time.
What we should also do, if you would, is I'd like to ask the staff, everybody, Josh, wherever you are, please stand up. And
actually, you want to come on stage? I think we should have them come on stage. That's what usually.
Please come forward. Come on down. Everybody who's on the staff, one way or another, interns, whoever you are.
Volunteers, fellows, producers.
Mountain climbers. Oh, who's going to take the picture if Chris is in the picture?
I think we passed it to someone in the front row.
Oh, all right.
Well, first, so before we take a photo, I just want to say this team has worked so hard in the lead up to this event to make this an amazing experience for you. They have, Sally has edited 1 million documents. Anne has been here all week, sitting outside at the registration desk, doing all the things that allow us to be in here. And Tom came all the way from Canada to help with this conference and took a week of vacation time to be here. Richard, I don't know if he took vacation time, but similar story, right? Lee has really taken over for David this year. He has done an incredible job, big shoes to fill. And I think, from the outside, we have been transitioning, but may have been a few bumps, but everything was fixed. And then Ben, who also has come here to spend a week of his time, he has a job, so it's not like, And Will, same thing. So we've got Josh, who has been running all of our AV and sound. Fun fact, he actually grew up with us on San Juan Island, and now he's a world-class producer of events. Where's Evan? Where is Evan?
Where is Evan?
We have Chris, who has been taking all of our photographs and running our social media. He produces our podcasts. Emma, my executive assistant, who has answered all of your emails and coordinated so many things, but she's also an incredible marketing strategist, and she created all of our visual content, all of our designs, our backdrops, our signs. And then Scott, who has been in the background the entire time, making sure that everything flows seamlessly, technically, oversees all of our websites. And then this guy right here, who, our fearless leader, who has done so much to help us, direct us in, you were the one that really spearheaded the Global Solar Now initiative, and then we tried to kind of run with it.
I think you were a little bit surprised when I first brought it up.
Yeah. But I just want to make sure that this team, who is most of the time behind the scenes, has a chance to be on stage in the spotlight as well.
Sally?
And Sally, I started with Sally. Sally is our editor-in-chief, who oversees all of our materials, edits everything that we do, edited the entire Ireland book in the last couple of weeks before the conference.
A little more.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just an incredible team. I feel really, really lucky to work with all of these people. So please give them a round of applause for all their hard work.